Hello friends, how are you? Welcome to my cozy haven. My name is Fiona. I'm really glad you've clicked on my video today. I'm just going to be chatting to you about the books that I've read this week and what I plan to be reading this weekend. So I hope you're going to enjoy this video. I have a few books to talk to you about. So yeah, it's been a good reading week. I've had how many finishes? 1, 2, 3, 4. 5 finishes and 1 DNF, or not for me as I call them. So I think that has been a good week. So shall we get into the books? So the first book I have is The New Mistress at the Shalley School by Eleanor M. Brent Dyer. I gave this one 3.5 out of 5. It's not my favourite, if I have to say. We meet Kathy Ferris, who is a newly qualified teacher. This is the Shalley School will be her second job. And she's really excited to be coming to the Shalley School. But her aunt gives her some advice that maybe backfires in some way, and she seems to settle in, but the girls can't quite connect with her in some ways, and through various incidences that happen, she learns about the workings of the Shalley School, how things are run, and she begins to learn how to be a better teacher. As I say, I give 3.5 out of 5. It's not my favourite. I think because there's so many sort of not, how can I put it? They're not arguments or anything like that, but you feel that Kathy should maybe have been asking for advice more than she did. And also there's a new form, Inter 5, which is going to be her form. So they're very disparate in age and abilities, or maybe not abilities, but the age, there's age differences, and that doesn't make them gel as a unit. Which is causing some problems as well. So, it was a fair read, but I say not one of my favourites. I then read The Place of Tides by James Rebanks. I got this as part of the Viking book club. I signed up for the book club this month. Didn't expect to get this book, but I did. I gave this one 4 out of 5. I really enjoyed it. I found it very, very interesting. It is to do with a gentleman that goes to Norway on a conference, and is taken, part of the conference, they're taken to see the Eiderduck ladies. And these are ladies who go out onto the islands in Norway and collect eiderdown, but it's the various ways that they do it. And he decides that he wants to learn more. So with the approval and the backing of his family, who run a farm in, I think it's Northumbria, he goes back out to Norway to help Anna, one of the ladies, the following spring. And it's him learning about how the eiderdown is collected, all that these ladies do for the eiderducks and everything. It was brilliantly written. Really enjoyed it. What I did was that there was no chapters, but you got little page breaks, and it actually read really, really quickly. You felt that you were making lots and lots of progress, which was great. As a fascinating, you got the history of how the eiderdown, industry started, and what all these islands mean to the ladies and to the ducks, and how they protect them and everything. Absolutely fascinating read. I've actually passed this on to my dad to read because I think he will thoroughly enjoy it. So yeah, if you can get your hands on this and it's a non-fiction, I would definitely recommend. The book that I did not finish was The Figurine by Victoria Hislop. I just couldn't get into it. I read the first part of it, which was about 80 odd pages, and I just wasn't caring for the characters, wasn't caring for the plot line, and I decided, you know what, I am not gonna read it anymore. So I just decided, no, that's it. I am not going to finish it. So you win some, you lose some. The next two books I want to talk to you about, I'll try and make sure I try and put little cards up here, or little pictures up here. While we were away this week, well, on Tuesday, we went to Main Street Bookshop in Newton St Boswell's, and we did some buying and went and got some coffee, and we're sitting in the coffee bit, and I'd been watching a video, recently, and the person was saying, that adults should read more children's picture books, and above the table there were two shelves of picture books, so I pulled two down. So the first one I read was Igor and the Mending Mice by Alexander Mostov. And this is a beautiful story about a town, and all the people love to buy new clothes, and Alexander supplies the clothes. And he's a tailor, and through a hole in the I presume the skirting, the mice watch him and think, well, we could do that. And he throws all the scraps of material he throws away, the mice go and collect, and they make themselves really lovely clothes. And the people, if something happens to their new clothes, they just put them in a skip, and they go and buy new ones. But the mice find the skip, and they start repairing the clothes and returning them to the people. And this doesn't make Igor very, very, very happy. And things happen, and it was just beautifully written. It was such a cute little story, and one that I think anyone would enjoy watching, or not watching, reading. It was just beautiful. The next one was The Underwater Moon by Sandra Diekman. Again, gave this one 4 out of 5. Another beautiful illustrated book about a mouse who doesn't think she has any friends, and the only friend that she has is the moon. And things happen, and she discovers that she's not the only one that thinks that the moon is her friend. And she finds that there are actually other creatures that depend on the moon as well. That's all I'm going to say, because if I say any more, it'll give the plot line away. 32 pages of beautiful illustrations, a gorgeous storyline, and I can understand why picture books are so popular, because they are just beautifully written, and they're great fun to read. I love them. I think I'm not going to invest in any, you understand, but if I get the chance, I might sort of peruse some at points, but because they're definitely worth it. They really are. The next book I finished was Summer at Skylark Farm by Heidi Swain. This is book number 2 in the Winthrop series. So Amber is a city girl, and I meant to say gave this 4.5 out of 5. And she is overwhelmed by her job. It's to do with corporate hospitality and things like that. And she's dating Jake, and Jake kind of works for the company, but has decided he's not going to work for them anymore. He's going to come back to Skylark Farm and run that full time with his aunt, Aunt Annie. And he asks Amber to come with him, and she's like, And then Amber is offered a job with the company to set up a new office in Dubai. And she realises, actually, I don't want that. I want to try living on the farm and sort of seeing what I can do with it. And it's the story of her time and Jake's time on the farm. Do they make a go of it? Do they not? Does Amber settle into country life? What does that mean for her? What does it mean for Jake? What does it mean for Annie? Can they make the farm a viable proposition? And if so, how are they going to do it? I've thoroughly enjoyed this book. There were two characters in particular I didn't particularly care for, but thankfully they weren't in the story for that long. But while they were in the story, they made things not nice for Amber or Jake. It was just not nicely, they weren't nice people, shall we say. But I loved hearing about everything they did with the farm and how they were trying to revamp it, what their ideas would mean for the farm and everybody within the area. So really glad I've read this one. I've got another one to read before I read the other one that I've got up there that's still part of this series. So I'm slowly catching my way up in this series, and I'm really glad that I am, because it's a thoroughly good series and one that I've enjoyed reading so far. So what am I going to be reading this weekend? Well, I'm going to finish off Excitements at the Shalley School by Eleanor M. Brent Dyer. Yeah, I've got that to read, so definitely will get this finished this weekend. So what else will I read? I don't know. I want to start reading from my Kindle again, because I'm discovered I'm not doing it that much. The majority of my reads this year so far have been physical, and which is fine. It's great. It gets my physical TBR down, but it doesn't get my Kindle TBR down. So I think I will probably be choosing a couple of books or something from my Kindle to read over the weekend. What, I don't know. I will just have a peruse and see. So that's kind of my reading. It's been, as I say, it's been a good week. I'm happy with what I've read. What are my plans for the weekend? We've got rugby this weekend. We've got the quarterfinals of the Champions Cup. Glasgow are through, so that's brilliant. Unfortunately, Edinburgh didn't make it, but that's fine. So we'll be watching that, reading. I don't know. We'll just see how the mood takes us, and see what needs to be done around the house, and just take it from there. Today the weather is dull, so the sun has gone away, which is a shame, because we've had two gorgeous days. But hey ho, that's the way it goes. Excuse me. I was up early this morning because I had to take Dad to the station. So yeah, and I was having like weird dreams last night. But hey, that's the way life is. But that's it for the moment, friends. Please come chat with me down in the comments. Have you read any of the books I've mentioned? I would love to know if you have. What did you think of them? And what are you going to be reading this weekend? What are you going to be doing this weekend? Again, love to know. And on your way to chat with me, if you haven't already, I would love for you to hit that thumbs up button and the subscribe button. It just helps my channel keep growing, and it tells you when I'm bringing out new videos, etc. But until my next video, friends, stay safe. Happy reading. My computer battery is about to die, so bye.